Hey, how you doing? It's time for my top 40 of 1973. These videos are a journey through many of my gorgeous playlists on Spotify. I've got annuals from 1925 to the present day, top 40s from 1970 to 1991, as well as extras of those years. I've got genres like reggae, soul, jazz, blues, dance, hip-hop. Um, I've got themed shows like guilty pleasures, soundtracks, instrumentals, all kinds of things to keep you happy, and artist specials too. And I'll be doing videos for many of those playlists. A lot of those playlists become radio shows, and you can hear those on Mixcloud. I'll leave a link to the radio show of this top 40 in the description, and I'll leave a link to the playlist, obviously, in the description. And for the extras playlist, which is coming up after this top 40, there's a link to that in the description as well. So head over there, follow me there, subscribe here for all those things, and I want you to share your music taste as well from the specific playlist that I do. So let me know what you think, what you like from those years. All right, let's get into the top 40 of 1973. At number 40, The Temptations, Papa Was a Rolling Stone, spent 1 week at 14 in February of 1973. Remember, these are all from the UK charts. All these songs entered the UK charts in 1973, and the numbers I give you relate to the UK charts, all right? Number 39, The Spinners, Could It Be I'm Falling in Love, spent a week at 11 in June of 73. 38, The Supremes, Bad Weather, spent a week at 37 in May of 73. Marvin Gaye, Let's Get It On, spent 2 weeks at 31 in October of 73. 36, The Isley Brothers, That Lady, Parts 1 and 2, spent a week at 14, straddling October and November of 73. Sweet, Hellraiser, spent 3 weeks at 2 in May and June of 73. 34, Wizard, See My Baby Jive, 4 weeks at 1, straddling May and June of 73. 33, Alice Cooper, No More Mr. Nice Guy, my accent came out there, spent 2 weeks at 10 in May of 73. Number 32, Tony Christie, Avenues and Alleyways, spent a week at 37 in February of 73. 31, The OJs, Love Train, 2 weeks at number 9 in April of 73. Into the top 30 now. Roberta Flack, Killing Me Softly with his song, spent a week at 6 in March of 73. 29, New York City, I'm Doing Fine Now Without You, Baby, spent 2 weeks at 20 in July and August of 73. 28, Stevie Wonder, You Are the Sunshine of My Life, spent 2 weeks at 7 in June of 73. 27, Steelers Wheel, Stuck in the Middle with You, spent 2 weeks at 8 in June of 73. And John Lennon, Mind Games, spent a week at 26 in December of 73. 25, Live and Let Die by Paul McCartney and Wings, spent a week at 9, straddling June and July of 73. 24, Slade, Come On Feel the Noise, spent 4 weeks at number 1 in March of 73. Glam rock was still massive at this point, you know. 23, Billy Paul, Me and Mrs. Jones, spent 2 weeks at 12 in February of 1973. And at 22, Sylvia, Pillow Talk, spent a week at 14 in July and August of 73. 21, Stevie Wonder, Higher Ground, spent a week at 29 in October and November of 73. That's from the Inner Visions album, and I'm going to take a pause here to mention that 1973 was an amazing year for albums. Stevie Wonder, Inner Visions, Pink Floyd, Dark Side of the Moon, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, Sly and the Family Stone, Fresh. Oh, there were loads. There was the Rolling Stones, Goat's Head Soup. Oh, there was some great albums in 1973. I actually did some album playlists as well. Not playlists, radio shows, and they're on Mixcloud, but I'm thinking of deleting them all. But if you head over now, you'll be able to hear them before I do delete them. And maybe I shouldn't. Anyway, into the top 20. Chairman of the Board, Finders Keepers. God, I love that song. Spent a week. I love all these. Well, many of these songs. Spent a week at 21 in July of 73. Obviously, the higher we go, the more I love them, right? Number 19. Timmy Thomas, Why Can't We Live Together? Spent a week at 12, straddling March and April of 73. 18, Daniel by Elton John. Spent a week at 4 in February of 73. 17, David Essex, Lamplight, spent 2 weeks at 7 in December of 73. I'm going to take a pause. I can't actually believe that, because when I was growing up, David Essex was kind of he was maybe the kind of guy that your parents liked once upon a time, I don't know. And then I listened to his first couple of albums, and there's some really, really cool stuff on there. Really not what you'd expect. It's kind of dark and moody and minimalist. It's fantastic, and there's some really great songs. I've got a David Essex Feed Your Soul artist special. I've got loads of artist specials, but he gets one. Mind you, many artists get one, but yeah, he deserves one. Did I tell you? He spent 2 weeks at 7 in December of 73. Next up, David Bowie, Sorrow, spent 2 weeks at 3 in November of 73. 15, Roxy Music, Pajama Rama, spent 3 weeks at 10, straddling April and May of 73. 14, Sweet, The Ballroom Blitz, spent 3 weeks at 2, straddling September and October of 73. 13, Susie Quattro, Can the Can, spent a week at number 1 in June of 73. Number 12, 10cc, Rubber Bullets, amazing song, spent a week at number 1 in June of 73. And number 11, Elton John, Saturday Night's All Right for Fighting, spent 2 weeks at 7 in July of 73. Into the top 10, David Essex again, Rock On. That's one of the ones I'm talking about. Very cool. Spent 2 weeks at 3 in September of 73. Number 9, Roxy Music, Street Life. Spent a week at number 9 in December of 73. Number 8. David Bowie, Driving Saturday. That was an impression of Barney. Well, not Barney, but well, you know the episode I'm talking about where he's in the B-sharps. David Bowie, Driving Saturday. Spent a week at 3 in May of 73. Number 7, Lou Reed, Walk on the Wild Side, spent a week at 10 in June of 73. 6, Sweet, Blockbuster, spent 5 weeks at 1, straddling January and February of 73. Number 5, T-Rex, 20th Century Boy, spent 3 weeks at 3 in March of 73. 4, The Rolling Stones, and yeah, spent 2 weeks at 5 in September of 73. Number 3, Stevie Wonder, Superstition. Whoa. If that's only at number 3, then imagine what number 2 and number 1 are. Well, you can see them on the screen already. I'm not looking at that screen, by the way. What you're seeing is not what I'm seeing. I'm reading from a book that I wrote, where I wrote all the information down. Superstition spent 2 weeks at 11, straddling February and March of 73. That's a number 1 record. What were people thinking? Number 2, Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, spent 2 weeks at 6, straddling October and November of 73. And number 1, it couldn't be anything else. David Bowie, Life on Mars, spent 3 weeks at 3 in June of 73. Now that's quite strange, because I'm sure it's from Hunky Dory, right? But it was released as a single in 73, so there you go. It probably says on the screen right now, Hunky Dory, but I'm not looking at that screen, so you should be aware of that. That's my top 40 of 1973. Now, let's look at the extras. Now, the caveat for that top 40 was that the songs had to enter the UK top 40 in 1973. Now, the extras, these songs didn't enter the UK top 40, so they're either album tracks or singles from other territories or just songs from that year that didn't enter the UK top 40. And as I always do in the 70s, there's loads of Brazilian music and loads of reggae because why not, right? It's amazing. All right, here we go. This is not in order, but I do prefer the ones at the top to the ones in the middle and the ones in the middle to the ones at the bottom. Do the Strand by Roxy Music. What a song. I don't have the information on my screen that I'm looking at. You're looking at the information where the album comes from, but I'm not, so I can't remember what album it comes from. Just give me 2 seconds and I'm going to check. For your pleasure. I thought it was. Next up, David Bowie, Aladdin Sane, from the album of the same name. That wasn't a single, obviously. That surprises me. I'm going to have to check that because it surprises me that wasn't a single, but I guess it wasn't because I did meticulous research. Ahira by Trio Ternura, that's a Brazilian song, it's absolutely amazing. Elton John, Sweet Painted Lady, from the amazing album Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Claudia, Deixa Eu Dizer, I've had Claudia on previous playlists because I just love her. Lorna Bennett, Breakfast in Bed, the reggae classic. Stevie Wonder, He's Mr. Know-It-All, wasn't a single in the UK. Oh, it didn't hit the UK top 40 anyway. I don't think it was a single in the UK. I think it was in America though. Raul Seixas, I think that's how it's pronounced, Metaforce Ambulante. That's from the movie Cidade de Deus, which is City of God to you and me if you speak English. Al Green, Call Me, Come Back Home. Oh, Al Green had some amazing songs. You should check out these playlists, honestly, please. It is worth your while. Novos Baianos, one of my favourite bands. Osama da Minha Terra, gorgeous. Next, Toots and the Maytals, 5446 was my number. Marcos Bai, Mentira, Chega de Mentira. Claudette McLean, Give Love Another Try, great reggae song. Sly and the Family Stone, Frisky, the alternate mix from Fresh, one of the great albums of 73. Novos Baianos again, Como Qualquer 2000 Reis. Alibaba by John Holt, João Donato, Aha. Aha. Sorry, I was thinking Coming to America. That is how they pronounce the R in Portuguese, Brazilian Portuguese, so you know. The Gatherers, Words of My Mouth. Roxy Music, The Bogus Man. Horace Andy, Don't Try to Dub, Mix 2. I've mentioned before, he's the guy that was on Mezzanine with Massive Attack. Very, very familiar voice. Bob Duro, Three's a Magic Number, from Schoolhouse Rock. That's where Three's a Magic Number by De La Soul came from. It's a gorgeous song. I've got a little cover of that, actually, on my Instagram page where I'm singing it with the guitar. Next up, Novos Baianos again, Vagabundo Now y Fácil. The Chosen Few, Don't Break Your Promise. Marcos Bay again, Samba Fatal. Gal Costa, India. I love Gal Costa. Roxy Music, Amazona. Now that's not from For Your Pleasure. Oh, come on. Just give me 2 seconds, folks. Stranded, of course, yeah. Rosa Maria, or Rosa Maria, Samba Maneiro. Elis Regina, Folhas Secas. Sly and the Family Stone again, Skin I'm In. Bobby Womack, Across 110th Street. Wait a minute. He was in 1970. That song was in 1972. I'm going to have to check. Because I would imagine I've got conflicting information, but you'll have to come out of one of those playlists. You can't be in both, Bobby. James Brown and the JBs, Down and Out in New York City from the film Black Caesar. Stevie Wonder from the album Inner Visions, again, great album. Golden Lady. Wings, Band on the Run, that's another great album from 73. Mrs. Vanderbilt is the song. João Gilberto, famous husband of Astrid Gilberto for a period of time. Eu Quero Samba. Novos Baianos, Os Pingos da Chuva. The Wailers, Get Up, Stand Up, that's a great album as well. Burning. Antonio Carlos and Jocafi, Teresa Guerrera, Gal Costa, Passarinho, Pink Floyd, Us and Them from a rather famous album called Dark Side of the Moon, you might know it. Marcos Bay again, Previsão do Tempo. Elton John, The Ballad of Danny Bailey. Oh, I can't, that's such a great album. Mind you, it could be a single album, and it could be a perfect album if it was a single album, I think. Novos Baianos, Socenal, For Brasileiro Nessa Hora. Graham Parsons, She. Gorgeous. Pink Floyd, Brain Damage. Novos Baianos, Sorrir e Cantar Como Bahia. Al Green, Here I Am, Come and Take Me. I can't believe that wasn't a single, but I've done the research, so unless I'm wrong. I mean, it didn't hit the top 40 anyway. Caetano Veloso, Julia Moreno. Pink Floyd, Breathe. Yeah. Martinho da Vila, Antonio João Pedro. Keith Hudson, Melody Maker from that great album, Rebel Music. Novos Baianos, Quando Você Chegar. Next up, Haruomi Hosono and Choo Choo. I love that song. Gal Costa, I love all these ones in the 73 extras. I love all of them. Most of them. Gal Costa, Pontos de Luz. David Bowie, Cracked Actor from Aladdin Sane. Elis Regina, Meio do Campo. The Wailers, I Shot the Sheriff, but I did not shoot the deputy. Caetano Veloso, Arasa Azul. Actually, you know, I think the Eric Clapton version of I Shot the Sheriff is probably better. Ooh, leave your comments. You probably hate me right now. Betty Davis, Anti-Love Song. Raul Seixas, Mosca na Sopa. Iroy. Black Man Time from that great Rebel Music album. Rolling Stones, Do. Yeah. Marco Ribas, Zamba Ben. The Whatnots, I Can't Stand to See You Cry. Great soul song. João Donato, Terremoto. The Chosen Few, People Make the World Go Round. Sergio Sampaio, Lero y Leros e Boleros. Lloyd Park, Slaving Every Day. Roxy Music, In Every Dream Home, a Heartache. For Your Pleasure is the album. Cassiano, Me Chame Atenção. Horace Andy, You Are My Angel. Actually, that's the original of that Massive Attack song. You are my angel. Martinho da Vila, Beto Navalha. Burundi Stevenson Black with Marabunta. Doris Montero, Soy Questão de Adeus a Ti Logo. Bob Andy, You Don't Know. Sergio Sampaio, Cala a Boca Zebedeo. Mulato Astatke, I like Mulato Astatke. And the Heliocentrics with Masenko. Secos Emoliados and Rosa de Hiroshima. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Slave Driver. Chico Buarque, Tatuagem. Pink Floyd, The Great Gig in the Sky. João Donato, Cala a Boca Menino. Kos Berzam, Nenoya, Trio Mokoto, Swinga Sam Baby, Bembeya Jazz National, Gia, Piero Umiliani, Lady Magnolia, Secos y Mollados, Sangue Latino, The Funkies, Breakthrough, Sergio Sampaio, Nauchenia Medonao, Egypt Strut by Salah Ragab and the Cairo Jazz Band, Walter Franco, Chachados y Perdidos, Ed Zayawa and Na Corley, Honey and the Bees Band, Psychedelic Woman, Ed Zayawa, and Ed Zayawa, hey, Herbie Hancock and Vein Melter, and Neo Allo Eccentrico. Well, really that was just me reading a list, wasn't it? But you can hear the music, which is far more interesting than hearing me say the names. There's a link in the description to that extras playlist. There's a link in the description to the top 40. There's a link in the description to the radio show of the top 40. And please, let me know in the comments what you love of 73, what music you love. Recommend some stuff for my extras playlist. Remember, it couldn't be in the UK Top 40, but anything out with the UK Top 40 of 1973, I'd love to add it to my extras playlist because I love discovering new music, so thank you in advance. Follow me on Spotify, follow me on Mixcloud, subscribe here, hit like please, I appreciate that, and share this with anyone you know who loves music. I'll be back with 1974 very soon. Bye-bye.